Hello everybody, welcome back. My name's Daniel Gormally. Welcome back to my YouTube. Today I want to talk about Magnus Carlsen and the possibility that he might retire from playing classical chess. Now, this relates to an incident where he got very upset, where he banged the table against Gukesh. Now, in my opinion, the reason he lost that game was actually wanted to lose. I think the pressure was mounting on Magnus. Um, he really wanted to win that game because it would have proven a point. It would have proven that he was the best player in the world. I think everybody thinks he is anyway. But to beat Gukesh 2-0, he was crushing Gukesh positionally. Typical way that Magnus plays, where he outplays the opponent positionally, even world class grandmasters. And Gukesh really, throughout the whole game, hardly got a piece in Magnus' side of the board. If you look at the game, he hardly made an attacking move at any point because he was unable to do so. So it was a great game by Magnus. So obviously he got very angry with himself for screwing that game up. I think actually it was a serious mistake, which at one point he could have exchanged the White's knight in the endgame rather than leave the knight versus knight. He could have had knight versus bishop. Now in that sort of position, you're never going to lose. In fact, it's an easy win. But he decided to exchange off the bishop, and he lost the game because these sort of things can happen when you're short of time. If you had a normal time control there, which they used to use in classical, for sure Magnus would have won that game. Effectively, that time control they're using is glorified rapid play anyway, in my opinion. Now, Magnus has been stated for a while that he wants to retire from classical chess. He doesn't enjoy classical chess anymore. I think this relates to how chess is getting analysed to death by computers and by opening preparation. So I just sit forward a little bit. So, that's the issue at play here. Like, for example, so I just do my hair, look pretty for the viewers. So, for example, let's say in the opening, you can have an opening like d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, g3, Catalan variation, bishop b4 check. Now, if white goes bishop d2, black often plays bishop e7 in that position. After bishop g2, we have, for example, c6, queen c2, castles by white, knight bd7, variations like that, or b6 instead of knight bd7. Now that variation has been analysed to death over the last few years. Magnus himself won a nice game against Ivanchuk with an early h4. But it's very hard to create anything new or interesting in that kind of position. This is why people are turning away, at the elite level, people are turning away from conventional classical chess to freestyle chess, which originally was called Fischer Random and had various other names like Chess 960, because of the fact that you're slightly removing this, you're removing a lot, this dependence on opening theory. However, in my opinion, Magnus, I don't think he'll quit classical chess. And I'm going to explain why. Firstly, we've all had painful defeats. Everybody's lost games where they were ahead. The same thing has happened to Gukesh on many occasions. There was even a video earlier of him bashing the table after he blundered against Sadwani. I believe that was in a rapid play game. Runwak Sadwani. Everybody's had that stuff like that. I've had very big meltdowns myself. I remember I once lost a game against Tim Wall in the British Rapid Play Championships. I went outside and I kicked a wall because I was so angry with myself for losing fairly quickly in about 17 moves in a 1b3 variation. I completely lost the plot at some point in the early middle game. And I think it was the pressure. The pressure was building to try and win the tournament. And I didn't quite manage to win the tournament. And I needed to win that game to have a chance to win the tournament. And I possibly would have been equal first. But I lost that game and I didn't win the tournament. So, games like that, it's painful. I remember even after some draws where I was expecting to win, I went outside, I pounded the floor, pounded the grass outside with my fist, started punching the beds, in the hotel room, stuff like that. because you're so angry with yourself. That's normal behaviour. But obviously for Magnus it's embarrassing to act like that. He's a world champion. So he thinks, like, how can I stop acting like that? One way is just to retire from classical chess. But it's very difficult for him to retire from classical chess because so much of his life has been invested in chess. He doesn't need the money. He could easily retire, actually. But what is he going to do instead? That's the question. Like, he can do the business stuff. He can play Title Tuesday. He can become a chess streamer like Nakamura if he wants. He can do a lot of things, to be honest. But I think he will continue with classical chess for the time being because there's nothing that quite replaces that adrenaline buzz. You know, that's why he got annoyed. That's why he got excited, because it means a lot to him. Even though he doesn't enjoy playing classical chess, it still means a lot to him. And he's very invested at these tournaments. He works very hard. You know, why has he been world number one for many years? He doesn't just turn up. I mean, he is super talented, don't get me wrong, but he likes to give this image of somebody who doesn't work on chess. I think he does work on chess pretty hard. And but the problem is, if he stopped playing classical chess, I think that would impact his results in other spheres of chess. I think that would impact his results in freestyle. I think that would impact his results in Blitz, in the World Blitz Championships, in the World Rapid Play Championships, because he's going to be very rusty when he turns up at these events. You have to play. So he's going to be very rusty, and I think that's going to impact his results, because also he's working very hard on openings. He's having to play at a very high level of classical chess. It's a different level of play than when you're playing rapid or blitz. So you take all that away, where's the incentive to work on chess at all? So I think his other results will get impacted, and I think he might well fall below, the standards that he had before. Don't get me wrong, he'd probably still win one or two World Rapid or Blitz over the next few years, because he's so far ahead of everybody else, even in that category. But I think in general, I don't think he will retire, because statistics show that he has played a lot of classical chess over the last 30 years. And, the odds are against it. He's not going to just retire like that. I think he will carry on. The most famous retirement in chess was Bobby Fischer. There's been a few famous retirements. Garry Kasparov quit chess. Vladimir Kramnik quit chess, playing over-the-board chess. But they're still invested in chess. Garry Kasparov posts about chess. Played the Singfield Cup in Fischer Random events. Also played some exhibition matches against people like Nigel Schultz. And he talks about chess all the time. Probably studies chess all the time. Bobby Fischer, when he retired, was studying chess just as hard as he was before, apparently, 10 hours a day. Peter Lecko's more or less retired. He still apparently does hours and hours on chess every single day. That's what he claims, at least. He's coaching full time. So retirement in chess is a questionable word, because in general, people just stay in chess anyway. It just means retiring from over-the-board chess. Vladimir Kramnik retired from over-the-board chess due to his back issues, like health issues, and the fact that he felt that he couldn't prepare as much. He didn't have the energy to prepare as much as he did before, which was impacting his results. He couldn't play to the level that he was expecting of himself. So he decided to retire. He's now having pot shots at people on social media about potential cheating. But he's still investing in chess because he's still playing online events. He's still playing occasionally over the board in like rapid play and stuff like that. So retirement is a questionable word. I don't think Magnus Carlsen, at this point in his career, is going to retire from classical chess altogether. I think he will carry on for the foreseeable future. But leave your comments down below. Do you agree with me that Magnus will probably carry on for a bit? I mean, what would it be his next? I thought he would play Vacanze this year, actually. That's a big sign that he didn't play Qatar Masters, the last renewal, which I think was actually in April or March, and he didn't play Vacanze. He would have got a big fee for Qatar Masters. When he plays Qatar Masters, he gets probably gets like $500,000 from the organisers, I reckon, because they're super rich, and it's like Magnus, right? I mean, I'm just guessing. I reckon he gets like a huge fee. That's why he played. Why else would he play? But or at least 100k. I mean, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but you know, it needs to be an amount of money that's going to tempt him. But this time, he probably turned down the money because it was like, I keep playing these 2500s and struggling. So you know, I'm losing rating on my classical rating. It's important for him to keep his classical rating up. So he's world number one. He's the best player in the world, but he just doesn't want to play chess anymore. It's crazy, right? So what hope is there for the rest of us? But he didn't play Vaikan Zay either, even though I remember in a video he said he was going to come back next year, and he didn't come. So he didn't play Vike, which is an event that he always tends to dominate. I don't think he played Vike. Maybe I'm wrong about that. No, he didn't play it, did he? So he hasn't played Vaikan Zay. He's played Norway Chess. But what will be his next event? There's not much else. There's FIDE World Cup. I don't think he'll play that. So I could see, if he does retire, if he stops playing, I could see a situation where he stops playing for 2 or 3 years, decides, actually, I'm bored. Let's come back and, you know, knock Gukesh off his pedestal or something like that, right? Show them who's boss. But yeah, anyway, those are my thoughts. Please leave your comments down below. Do you agree with me? Or am I talking absolute nonsense as per usual?